You've probably seen these make $10,000 a month in 30 days scam businesses marketing all over the internet. And in the same degree, you've probably seen Harvard market and say, you might maybe graduate from Harvard. And that's the only promise they make, and you can pay us $250,000 a year. And so what's the difference between this clearly scam business and this incredibly legit 100-plus-year-old business? It turns out there's only 4 things. There are multiple levels of legitimacy for education. On one side, you have Harvard. Most people don't call Harvard a scam, but they fundamentally sell education. And on this side, you've got a guy who tells you how to start an ATM business and promises that you're gonna make $100,000 a day in 5 seconds. They both sell education, and on the scam index, why is this one maxed out and this one's a 0? Number 1, Harvard turns people down.
I applied for Harvard for 10 times rejected.
If every single person who applies to work with you and the only requirements to become a customer of yours is a credit card and a pulse, ding, 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 red flag number 1. Most people probably aren't qualified to become customers. And if you define a qualified lead as somebody who has the highest likelihood of success with your program or service or education, then you should have screening metrics for who is not a good fit. It's more likely that they'll be upset, leave you bad reviews, call you a scam, which you can easily avoid, number 1, by selling qualified customers only. Number 2 is that Harvard doesn't give income expectations. They don't say, become a Harvard graduate, make money tomorrow. There's a delay between when you start and when you actually even graduate and get the endorsement of their brand, which, to be fair, is really what Harvard sells, is the brand endorsement that you get to put on yourself. The second thing is that instead of giving testimonials of students on income, I graduated Harvard and I got my first job at $185,000 at Goldman Sachs. You don't see that anywhere on their site. But what they will publish is data, and this is fucking huge. If you do not track your customer success metrics, meaning when someone buys, what percent of them succeed at 30, 60, 90, 12 months? What are the averages for whatever the thing that you educate them on? If you track the data, then you don't add any sensationalism to what you are reporting. Harvard publishes what the top 20%, what the average, what the median person gets, and what industries their graduates go into, because that's data. They're not setting false expectations, and they're not saying this is what you can expect in 6 weeks. They're saying 4 years ago, these people started, and today they graduated, and this is what they got. The highlights that they have at Harvard are not the income, but the experience and the network and the relationships and the character development. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, man, it would be harder to sell people that way. You're right. But if you do it that way, and you only let in really good people, what do you think happens? You start to develop a brand. For example, I was having this discussion with Jacob, my neighbor, because he was saying he was considering starting a sales school. Whether he does that or not at some point in the future is irrelevant. But I said, if you were gonna start one, then you want to be legit about it. Because you see, everybody and their mother has a sales school right now, because they start selling high ticket, they immediately make 20 grand a month, and they start a course on how to make 20 grand a month as a high ticket closer. If you want to be legit about it, what you would do is you would give tons of content away for free. This is pillar number 3. You can monetize the education itself. You can sell education, but I think the smart move, and if you've consumed any of my stuff, is that you give away the secrets, you sell the implementation. Take all the content you would normally sell as your course and give it all away for free. So if I were selling the ability to sell, then I would give away the course as content through all the different platforms I possibly could, and the implementation would be, let me listen to your sales calls, give you feedback in real time, and then monitor your performance over that period so that you become a salesperson. Pillar number 4, Harvard doesn't graduate everyone. Some people fail. And the reason for that is because Harvard wants to maintain their brand. Because what they say is, sure, Johnny graduated from Harvard with a 1.6 GPA. Now, he was smart enough to get in, but through the 4 years, we saw that he didn't have some of these other character traits. So I was telling Jacob, if you want to be smart about it, number 1, you would just show the data. Number 2, you would probably not accept 90% of people who want to be salespeople, because you could immediately tell in the interview, just like Harvard does, that you're probably not going to be a good salesperson. So it's easier to find people who have a proclivity for sales and then just get them this much better and then endorse them. But before you have the endorsement, you still rank order them on who you think has succeeded the best and have the possibility that someone pays and does not get your endorsement, because that is how you long-term maintain the brand. And so let's play this out. How could we get 100% of people who graduate from my thing to be the best salespeople? First thing is we pick people who are naturally good at sales. Second thing is cut out the people who are not. Third, we set expectations that are only based on data, and the remainder of our testimonials and stories are based on the experiences of people who've gone through our system or program or implementation. I establish far more demand for my service than I have supply so that I can keep my prices high by generating more content that is better than everyone else's paid stuff. You maintain thought leadership and all they do is copy what you have, and everyone else can then make a judgment. Wait, their free stuff isn't as good as your free stuff, so then your paid stuff must be better than their paid stuff. That's the natural logic that the marketplace will always do. Let's say you did it and you had a really high standard and you've only been making content for, let's say, a year. Now if you're like, wait, only a year? Yeah, it takes time to build big shit. So if you build it for a year, and let's say you only got 25 people to graduate, but they're all killers, savages. What do you think's gonna happen to the companies that they go get jobs at? You got any more? Now you have even more demand on both sides. What do you think's gonna happen to the friends of those people who start making twice what the industry average is for sales guys because they're that much better? They're top 20%, top 5% sales guys, rather than just run-of-the-mill sales guys. Their friends are gonna be like, if I'm gonna make $300,000 a year rather than the industry average sales guy making 60, I make 5 times the income. How much more valuable is this one-year education? Well, we know Harvard charges people $250,000 for their 4 years. So for a year, you could probably charge a lot because you have the data to support the fact that 1, you don't let everyone in. 2, when people graduate, you also have a rank order.
And if you're looking to make your first dollar online or monetize your audience, no matter what the size is, Skool.com/games is the easiest way that I know how to do it. I take a call once a week inside of that community to answer questions for people who are getting started. I have a step-by-step course that lays out what exactly to do to make your first dollar online. And once a month, I drop 8 hours of training from the top 10 community business owners, showing exactly what they're doing to scale their communities today. Skool.com/games. You can start for free.
And so if all this school stuff sounded interesting to you, I do have an easy offer for you. You can go to Skool.com/games. And what we have inside for you is we have 3 calls a week with guys who are actually making tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars a month on Skool, using the platform, teaching you exactly what they did step by step. So we've got calls for you of other people. We've got a community of others to help you out. And I think the benefit here is that you get people who are both starting with you at 0, but people who are also at the end of the race cheering you on. And so you kind of have like 3 types of accountability. So you've got peer accountability, you've got kind of like coach accountability because people are rooting for you, but then you also have alumni accountability, people who've already been through it. And then I made a course that I put in there. It's free. It just shows you how to do this, the different ways to play the game, the different kind of like avatars that you can self-select. Maybe I'm somebody who likes making content. Maybe I'm somebody who's better at ads. Maybe I'm somebody who already has an audience. Maybe I'm somebody who likes outbound. Maybe I'm somebody who likes to have a partner. So I break down all the different paths that you can use to really start making money on the internet with what I think is the easiest business model out there. The best part, in my opinion, is that all of this stuff, obviously we have the prizes, the top 10 get to fly out, so hopefully you can do that. But you only need 3 people, and I just did a 1-day full deep dive. It's 8 hours of me just helping the top 10 communities scale, and those recordings are live right now. So if I had a $100,000 mastermind or something, this would be it, except it's yours and it's free. And here's my incentive for you. If you just get 3 people into your group. All right, so I like to put like as low as I possibly could. You get 3 people into your group, you can get your friends in there. I don't care if you cheated, it's fine. Get 3 people into your community, and you get all the downloads from that. And all of this stuff, you can start for free for 14 days, just so you can get a feel for it. You can go in there, download everything, and steal it all for all I care. All right, but my hope is that you actually use it so you can make your first dollar. And I will just repeat this one stat because I think it's the most important stat I think of the business right now, is that 30.4% of people who finish their first month of the Skool Games make their first dollar online.